Concern is growing over the impact of biofuel cultivation on global food prices. But less is known overseas about the threat the biofuels revolution poses to the lives and security of vulnerable and marginalized communities. In Colombia, violence and displacement are increasing. Cilia Obando and her husband Juan lost her father and one of her sons at the hands of the paramilitaries 3 years ago. Last year, the couple and their 4 children became part of the 3 million people displaced in Colombia. They were forced to abandon their farm in the province of Nariño because of the conflict.
The paramilitaries arrived and told us to leave or they were going to kill us. They didn't give me time to take my documents or anything.
In 1997, paramilitaries arrived to this area, launching a campaign of terror, accusing the farmers of supporting the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC. Thousands of people were killed and disappeared. Their land was also taken. Like the Obando family, many have been forced out of their homes in the last year. More than 5 million hectares of land have been lost as the result of forced displacement. Now, some of this land is being used to cultivate African palm, a main source of biodiesel. The thirst for green fuels in the West is having a negative impact on the most vulnerable in Colombia. The country has become the first producer of biodiesel in Latin America and the second producer of ethanol after Brazil. Currently, there are more than 400,000 hectares of palm being cultivated, and the trend is growing by the day. Britain imports more palm oil from Colombia than any other country in the European Union. Besides its use in the push for biofuel, the chocolate, margarine or soap in UK supermarkets contains palm oil that has a good chance of coming from Colombia. But in most regions where palm is being planted are the ones most affected by the war. Berenice Celeta works for Nómades, a social organization that supports displaced people in the Cauca and Nariño regions.
We recently carried out a study in which we found that more than 1,800 people had been killed since 2000, and since October last year, 70% of the communities in the western mountain range of Nariño have been displaced.
Most of those displaced in Nariño or Cauca regions end up in Cali, Colombia's second biggest city. The Agua Blanca barrio is home to thousands of displaced families. Mario Angulo San Clemente works for Palenque El Congal, a grassroots movement raising awareness of the rights of Afro-descendant and indigenous groups.
The displacement of black communities in the Pacific area is state policy. One way to silence the opposition is destroying the social organizations and moving communities off their land.
Palm is not only displacing people in Nariño, but all over the country. In the Choco region in northwest Colombia, thousands of people have also been displaced. Luis Ovidio Renteria decided to return to his land with his family in 2005. He is one of the few who dare to go back. When he arrived, his crops were gone and his land was covered with palm.
We have received many death threats from palm entrepreneurs, and they told us that they were going to kill us one by one, that they were going to get rid of us. That is why people are terrorized, only for claiming back what is theirs.
For those who are at the forefront of the fight for social justice in Colombia, it is essential that the developed world know the true cost of cheap green fuels.
The Colombian government has been condemned before for abusing its people, and nothing will change unless there is international pressure. War on Want has helped us transmit this to the international community because it's important that they know what's really happening here in Colombia.